Alright guys, look, I'm making this video because something actually finally happened with PulseChain that I think is worth discussing, since I've dedicated all this time, effort, economic energy into this bullshit. So, folks, looks like PulseChain is finally doing something of note here. It seems like we are, let's take a look at the chart here. That's not the chart, this is the chart. Looks like we're potentially breaking out bullishly here. We've been forming this ascending triangle for about 2 years. I recently was on KVault DeFi's YouTube channel. You can check out the full interview where I discuss this and more, what I'm about to discuss, down in the description below. You can check it out if you want. So for 2 years we've spent in this downtrend, macro, lower highs and lower lows. Massive downtrend. Richard Hart, the founder of this, has been pretty much completely missing in action. He beat the SEC and put out a video saying he's willing and able to be more public again about a month ago. He really hasn't shown his face at all since then, which isn't great, because for PulseChain to do well, we need to appear like the founder hasn't abandoned his chain. Like he just, we don't want it to look like he just raised a bunch of money and bounced. And people within the PulseChain ecosystem understand very well that Richard's injected that money into the ecosystem. He's being price supportive, yada yada yada. That doesn't matter. What matters is what the rest of the market thinks. And what the rest of the market thinks is that PulseChain is pretty much a complete failure. You can tell because of what the price is. This has been nothing but a massive downtrend for years. The market is pricing this for a complete failure. But the reason why I'm sticking my head out and making this video and sharing a few thoughts here is because I think we're starting to notice some interesting stuff here. We have broken out bullishly. We have a higher low and a higher high. So we're seeing the first signs of forming an uptrend here. This is an uptrend. We are in an uptrend in the short term here. We pair that with the fact that we're breaking out bullishly here. Good sign. So I'll edit this in here. Some of you guys may or may out here. I'll edit this in after. If you guys can see this white line here, this was my bottom call. I called the bottom for PulseChain. Almost exactly on the day. I was very close. Granted, two or 3 days off, but I was very close. I called the bottom almost exactly where the most oversold we'd ever been on the 3-day RSI. I'm like, hey, look, this looks like what a bottom would look like if we were going to put in one. So, folks, this is Richard ecosystem. We can always go down further, right? The founders pretty much MIA as far as the rest of the market is concerned. No matter how whatever nuances PulseChain people may believe or not, it really doesn't matter. The rest of the market is pricing this as abandonment and failure, given the nothing but absolute downtrend for years and years and years on end. But guys, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe not. Anyways, I'm more optimistic for 2 reasons. We're breaking out bullishly here, and because Richard has signaled that he's more willing to be public again, so that's great. I'm more optimistic. I've been consistent for years that I believe that if we want PulseChain to do anything like what Hex did his first cycle, and that having some success, we need a founder who isn't doing the bare minimum and doesn't appear to have abandoned his project. For those of you who weren't around last cycle, Richard was out there pretty much daily for almost 2 years straight. 2-3 hour long live streams saying why Hex was the best and the greatest, and we don't have that. We don't have anything close to that. Nobody new is entering this ecosystem. If you look at the bridge activity, it's extremely depressing. I'm still on Twitter X, YouTube, all engagements super down. Crypto Twitter is next to dead. It also doesn't help that Richard FOMO bought the ETH top. And I bring this up. I don't bring this up just to gripe people. I bring this up because I think it's significant. I think this is what really what matters. It's not just me that said this. Richard Hart said this in the video he put out roughly a month ago, saying that he really wants the price of ETH to go up, and I'm sure he does. I want it to go up too. I want PulseChain to succeed, but I don't think reality denial is useful at all. Some people use reality denial as a coping mechanism. That's all well and good, but the market doesn't care about our denial. The market cares. The market can clearly acknowledge reality. It doesn't have these hang-ups. It doesn't have a problem acknowledging inconvenient truths. So the truth is, Richard FOMO bought the ETH top. He had plenty of opportunity to buy lower. Like, for example, if Richard took the plenty of opportunity he had to buy ETH at or around 2K, if I think ETH went to about 7K, PulseChain would have an extra $1 billion, which is most certainly needed because we're gonna have to soak up. Richard's gonna have to soak up a fuck ton of sell pressure as we go up, if we ever do. But my point is here, guys, we're seeing a little bit of a breakout. We're seeing RH coming out saying he's more willing to be public again. That's all well and good. But I think ultimately what we need is ETH to be higher. Like, Richard Hart beat the SEC, and he's still not out there being public. And who knows why that is? That could be, he's just embarrassed by how terrible his whole ecosystem has performed. PulseChain Hex, his whole ecosystem has performed worse than scams. FTX, Celsius, you would have outperformed the Richard ecosystem, certain Richard coins, EHEX, if you would participate in scams. So it's a terrible look. When things were theoretical, like when he first launched Hex, for example, he went on a 4-hour-long live stream with a couple lawyers debating the merits as to whether Hex was security or not. So when the question was theoretical, he was out there every day, battling publicly. He would criticize others for hiding and cowering, saying that he isn't a coward, he doesn't hide. And he did all this for years when it was all theoretical, but now that it's real, he's missing in action. And look, he may have his reasons, timing, embarrassment, not wanting to answer difficult questions. It doesn't matter. The result is the same. We have the appearance of abandonment. We have tons and tons. We have dozens and dozens. I don't know. We might get to the point where we have hundreds of faster, cheaper versions of Ethereum. And these are all industry players who have massive war chests and massive public teams with massive marketing efforts. And if we have any hope to compete with them, we need a founder who isn't doing the bare minimum and just posting occasional proof of life posts on Twitter. So I know I paint a picture that is some would say negative, but that's unfortunately just a reflection of the reality of our situation. I still am optimistic that PulseChain could do well one day, but we need a founder. We need the old Richard Hart back. I was around and I saw what it took to make Hex successful in the first place. Hex had 10,000x because Richard was out there pumping the shit out of it and being public as well. We need that same combination for Pulse to have a chance of doing well long term. Because so far, all we've seen, everything that's been tried, this Richard Hart, ghosting, hiding under the rock, has just led to 2 years of nothing but down. So we need something new. We need to actually fight, because if we want to compete against these dozens of Ethereum competitors that have war chests and public teams, we need more than what's been tried, which has been a complete failure up to now. But again, guys, there's hope. At the end of the tunnel. If in a couple months, if in a year, and if in 4 years, Ethereum puts in new all-time highs, 5-7K. Pulse is back above sack rate. Richard's public again. The ETH, what do we call it? Strategic reserves and profit again. Then hopefully PulseChain in that case can and will do well. So, those are some of the things I'm looking out for. Just to be a little bit more kind to us. I do think it is extremely meaningful, and what prompted me to make this video, that PulseChain is breaking out bullishly out of this massive bearish pattern that we've been in for 2 years. This is extremely significant. I believe we are either at or approaching an inflection point where we are close to significantly changing and breaking this prior 2-year-long downtrend. Like, folks, when you break a pattern like this, it's a very, very big deal on such a macro time frame. So, even though Richard's still hiding, he has signaled that he's more willing to be public. He said, if I have thoughts I want to share on something, I can make videos now. So that's a good sign, and it speaks to the fundamentals. Just because price is up or down on an even day, that shouldn't necessarily impact one's investment thesis. But when the fundamentals do change, that does warrant reflection. So the fact that we have seen Richard signal that he's willing to be more public moving forward is a positive development in the fundamentals. So that's one of the reasons why I've been sharing a bit more optimism lately, and in that period with this breakout is kind of what prompted this video here. So folks, moving forward, I have started a paid group, La Oficina. This group is not intended to share financial advice of any kind. I'm not a financial advisor. None of these videos are financial advice. These are for entertainment and commentary purposes only. But in this group, I will be sharing my thoughts and insights, commentary on the state of the crypto markets and my opinions moving forward. So you could join down in the description below. The group's called La Oficina. I will be dramatically increasing the price of this thing as the bull market kicks off. So if you want to get in, I believe there's a early bird special. I believe. What do you mean? There's an early bird special, 90% off for early members. At my discretion, I will be increasing the price of this dramatically. So if you want to know some of the things I'm up to and my thoughts, I encourage you to check that down in the description below. I think that's it for now, folks. And take care. We'll talk soon.